it. I got a little intro song.
Powered by Riverside.
Nice. Yes. I love it. I love it. Yeah, round of applause for ourselves. Welcome to JT Unfiltered. I'm your host, Jonathan Tager, real estate broker here in New York City. This is a show where we talk about real estate, business, tennis, everything in between.
Wait,
we keep it real.
Real estate? Oh.
You know what? It should be. It should be, right? I mean, the goal is to talk about real estate, but you know how we're real estate brokers, right? We just like to talk and hear ourselves. Let me introduce you first, Gregg. Okay, we can't just start talking. We have to introduce you, and like I got to come up with. I don't even know. Like my introductions suck. I'm gonna forewarn you. My introductions suck, but I want to introduce Mr. Gregg Silver, real estate. I mean, tell me what I'm missing here, right? But I'm gonna go with real estate broker extraordinaire. Okay, founding member of Daphne of Milstein Properties.
Milstein Silver Properties.
Milstein Silver Properties. Sorry, I forgot your name, but
it's now called MS Property Partners.
MS Property Partners.
The official name.
Beverly Hills High School graduate.
There you go.
Varsity baseball player and football player.
Correct.
Yes.
Well, you've done your research.
What's that? What?
Your research.
I mean, I just know. Well, I went to Beverly too. I'm Beverly. And what else we got? Look, anyway, we'll get to everything. But welcome to the show. I'm so happy to have you on.
Great to be on with you.
Yes.
Good on, everybody.
Everyone, just chill out. Just chill out. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Great to be here with you.
I mean, let's be honest. When was the last time this is 2D, but when was the last time I even saw you?
In person, it's been a while. I was thinking about it this morning in preparation when I was doing my research and studying for the episode here. I was trying to think when the last time I saw you because you left. When did you leave our office?
I left. I mean, I've been back in New York. I got to go with 13 years. Has it been like 12, 13 years? Well, I can tell you, actually, yes, because my youngest daughter was less than 1 year old and she's 13, like 13 and a half. So
and how's that
13
going?
Years ago. What's that?
How's that going?
It's going pretty well. She's going to have her bat mitzvah, which is exciting. And thank you. Yeah, that's exciting. And yeah, it's crazy. My oldest is 16 and a half and going to college soon. So that's kind of scary.
I have nothing to contribute in behalf of people trying to raise kids because I have no kids. For all those ladies out there, I'm single, no kids.
Are you single? You're single?
Single.
How are you single? Can we talk about this? What's that?
I am a dog dad though, so you have to be able to take the dog along with.
It doesn't count. The dogs don't count.
Okay, sorry, Coda. All right.
Sorry, Coda. It doesn't count.
How am I still single?
How are you still single?
That's the age-old question. I have to say, LA dating is tough enough, and then when you get to, I'll say my age, I don't even know how old you are. You're probably.
I'm 50. I just turned 50.
Yeah, I'm going to be 58 this year, if you can believe it. And
you look good for 58, dude. You look good.
I appreciate that. I'm trying.
You look good.
It's LA is a very tough market. If you don't want to do the nightclubs and the fancy restaurants every night and go out on the town, I mean, I'm a homebody. I love my friends. I love doing fun things. But at the end of the day, dating is a chore, and I know it makes it hard to meet people. But I try and meet people normally through life, playing pickleball. I know.
Well, how do you date? What do you like? Go on? Do you go on Hinge? Are you on Hinge?
I'm on Hinge. I'm on JDate. I'm on.
Yeah. JDate's still around? JDate is still around.
It is, but you know what? I think the same people I saw when I was like 25 are still on there. So they're probably saying the same thing when
they're lifers. They're lifers.
Exactly. But I meet a lot of people just, kind of out and about with friends. Like I said, I play pickleball a lot, and I know we probably could talk a little bit about tennis and pickleball. And
love it.
Players hate pickleball, and pickleball players think tennis players just want to slam us all day long. But
I think it's all nonsense. I think it's like a built up rivalry that doesn't exist. I don't think it's true. I think it's just like the Palestinians and the Israelis. I think the pickleballers actually do like the tennis players and vice versa, but there's so much, fake news out there.
There is, but there's definitely, I think, the group of tennis players that are absolute like no Trumpers. They're no pickleballers.
Yeah,
And
no, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
and then there's the ones that come over and they realize that they can dominate because they've got the hand-eye coordination and the skills. And pickleball is a lot of fun. It can be very social, and if you want to just play casually, but I'm very super competitive, so I always kind of strive to get into
Is
tournaments.
that your exercise? Like, is that your main source of exercise?
It was up until recently, and now I'm just starting to try and pick up a lot more. I've started weight training again after taking off about 6 years. Right before COVID started, I was training for a Spartan obstacle course race, and I don't know if you know those things.
I don't know what that is. Yeah, what's that?
Like it's kind of like the big obstacle course where you like run through mud and you climb ropes and throw
Oh,
spears
I've
and
seen that.
carry
Yeah, I've seen that.
rocks.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, I was in unbelievable shape at the end of 19, and the race was supposed to be in March of 2020, and then sure enough, like everything, the world came to a stop. So they canceled the race. My gym's all closed, and then I
So was that like the first one you were going to do, or that was the first one? Oh, that's
and of course I don't know if I'll ever do it again because 6 years later, it's
Well, how
not.
do you train for that? How do you even train for that?
I had a personal trainer. Shout out to Eric Hendricks. Anybody in LA who's listening, he's an amazing trainer. And his wife cuts my
Eric.
hair. So hopefully I'm doing her right too. I know you just got a haircut the other day. So I said maybe I should get a haircut because I don't want JT to
Yeah.
fun of
You sh-
my receding hairline. But
yeah, you don't want me to be more. Actually, your hair coverage is exactly the same, just so you know. And I would tell you, I wouldn't say anything. It's exactly the same coverage as it was 13 years ago.
perfect. I haven't changed.
It is. Yeah, you haven't
In all
changed.
your videos, you're always wearing like a beanie or something like that because it's 2 degrees in New York. But
Yeah, it's freezing.
yeah. Hopefully, and by the way, I'm going to be coming out there in September, so we have to make sure that we connect
3D.
this time. 3D.
I'm much better looking 3D, I think.
And we'll have to figure out some food. Maybe you can get me into Fort Charles, and I can try that hamburger.
Dude, I've been trying to get into Fort Charles for since it opened, and I'm obviously not cool enough. You know what you really have to do? I think to eat at Fort Charles, I think you just have to show up on
Like
the
9 o'clock
shittiest day of the year.
Yeah,
What's that?
9 o'clock in the morning. And
Yeah, just show up in the
you
morning.
get that table right outside.
Yeah.
And so listen,
Well, that's the problem. It's a tiny restaurant, so that's the problem. Getting a seat. But
one of my
whatever.
really good buddies, he just actually moved. I saw your episode or your TikTok the other day about Greenpoint. He just moved to Greenpoint, and he's a mortgage broker. So I should hook you two up, and
Cool.
that's good at least.
Yeah, I don't know any mortgage brokers.
Something tells me you have plenty, but then again, you probably
I'm
only deal
joking.
with cash buyers. So
Always,
you don't need to
look, you have to be a real estate broker to get that joke, right? Like like if there's one vendor that I have like, a million of, it's like they're my number one vendor.
But let me
Right.
ask you a question.
Yeah.
Because in LA, for
Yeah.
some reason, I cannot find a good plumber. I can't find a good electrician, someone who's going to show up on time, someone who's
Really?
they're the worst. They say they're going to be there at 2, then you get the phone call at 2:15. They're like, "I'm on my way," and you're like, "You're on your way from where?" I don't in
Yeah.
LA, and I don't know if New York is the same, but people have zero respect for our time. You show up for a showing and, they come 20, 30, 40 minutes later. They don't call, they don't apologize. But you know what? That's the way it's been. I mean, you and I have been doing this a long time. I mean, I've been a broker for 26 years now. So
Let's get into it. I want to get into it, right? Because one of the, I mean, look, I don't know what this show's about yet, but we're figuring it out. But like one of the things I like discussing is like, okay, here you are, you're hugely successful, right? You'll downplay that you're not, but you're like one of the best real estate brokers in Los Angeles for sure. So with that said, how did you get started in real estate? So like, where'd you go to college? Let's just start from like college. Where'd you go to school?
So I don't know if you're familiar with the Claremont colleges. A lot of people from back east actually know it more than the people who live out in Southern California. But the Claremont colleges is a group of 5 independent liberal arts schools: Pomona, Harvey Mudd, Scripps, which is all women, Claremont McKenna, and Pitzer College. And they're all independent, where you enroll and are an actual student of one of the 5, and then you can cross-register and take classes at any of the other schools, but your major and your breadth of studies is the majority in your one college. So I went to Pitzer and Pomona. Pomona's been in the Forbes like top 10 list.
Yeah, Pomona. I've heard of Pomona for sure. Yeah.
And Pitzer is the newest of the 5. I think it was founded in the 50s or 60s, but really small school. I think altogether there's about 7,000 students between the 5 colleges.
Where is it? Where is that?
So it's about halfway between LA and Palm Springs. So Pomona, the city of Pomona College, it's about an hour from LA. I was going to say
Hour east.
Yeah, east. If you go down the 10 freeway and you get off Indian Hill, there's a big Chili's right there. You can't miss it. So,
Chili's.
Yeah, got to get that.
No, I don't. Not anymore. Not anymore.
That's
On a
right.
road trip, a Chili's is pretty good, but
Oh, I don't
anyway,
know.
okay.
I wouldn't need a Chili's and get in a car. That's
Oh God no, spare everyone. Okay, so you went to
went to school there. I played football and baseball for all 4 years, and then after my
what position did you play?
So in football, my first 2 years, I played wide receiver and defensive back. And then my junior and senior year, I played quarterback and I ran the option, which if you saw me, you'd think, how is this?
Dude, you're baller, dude. You're 5'7", right? Unbelievable.
Yeah. So I was very fast, though, and I had a great time. I mean, the only bad thing about playing option quarterback is you get hit on every single play, whether you dish it off or you throw it or you keep it and run. So
yeah, regardless.
I got beat up a lot. But it was fun. Had a really great time. And then in baseball, I played shortstop my freshman year, second base my sophomore year. Then I played center field my junior and senior years. And then after my senior year, I had 2 tryouts, one with the Royals and one with the Padres. And, it was one of those things. I think they were just looking for, hey, did we miss anybody? And didn't go anywhere. And then I played semi-pro ball in Long Beach for 2 years.
I mean, you couldn't even make the Padres.
Couldn't even make the Padres. Can you believe it? Me and Tatis Jr.
I grew up a Padres fan. That's like years of disappointment. Okay.
Yeah, we had so much fun because we always used to go down to San Diego when I was a kid. There was a hotel down there called the Town and Country. And the old Jack Murphy Stadium was close by, and it's where all of the teams that were in town to play the Padres would stay. So a lot of times that we stayed there, we'd go into the coffee shop and there'd be Sparky Anderson and Joe Morgan and Pete Rose, and Johnny, all the great Reds players that were in town. It was fun. But anyway, we're getting way off topic. But,
Yeah.
So, I graduated with a degree in business management, and my first job out of college when I realized I wasn't going to be a pro baseball player was with Hyatt Hotels and Resorts. I was a human resource manager. And I worked out of the Hyatt Regency Long Beach, and then I worked at the Hyatt LAX. And after about 2 years of doing that in the human resource world, I was an employment specialist. I was responsible for doing all of the hiring, new employee orientation, and training of all the new staff. And then after a couple of years, they wanted to move you into benefits administration, which is part of the HR umbrella.
So this is all before the age of 27. This is like, you're like 24 or something.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. And benefits administration was not, it was really an administrative thing, and it was not something that I got into. So I ended up leaving Hyatt, and I got hired by Universal. And this is right before, I don't know if you recall Universal CityWalk, if you've ever been out to the huge.
Yeah, for sure, of course.
Downtown Disney, for all those people that haven't been to CityWalk. It's a huge entertainment promenade that has restaurants and retail stores. And
still there, right? It's still there, right? Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So right before they opened that, they hired me to do the employment and the buildup of all the Universal-owned venues, as well as hiring, security people and parking people, everything that had to do with city.
How'd you get that job?
I believe it or not, this is a crazy story if you have the time.
Let's go.
This is back in the day where they still posted things in the newspaper and the classifieds. I mean,
Yeah.
there was no, monster.com or whatever these, firms are. So I sent in a resume, just a blind resume, and got a call one day and they said, "Can you come in for an interview?" Because I saw this ad, Universal Studios Employment Manager. That was my specialty at Hyatt. So I sent in the resume and I went in for this interview. And the same day, they kept saying, "Oh, great. Do you have time to meet with this person? And then do you have time to meet with this person and the next person?" And all
Wow.
of a sudden, like 2 days later, they called and offered me the job. And about a month into me working, in our office, we have all the resumes from all the different positions, it's old banker's boxes with the words written on the side for, whatever the position was. And I saw the employment manager box and I started sifting through it and saw these great resumes of people who seemed very, very educated and very experienced. And so I said to my boss, I said, "Boy, how did you even really find me?" And he said, it's kind of a crazy story. He said he'd been looking for someone and just couldn't find the right person that he connected with. And he said he had all these resumes spread out on his coffee table. And he said to his significant other, he said, I can't look at any more. He goes, pick me the winner out. And this guy goes through all these resumes and hands him my resume. And that's when he called me.
Why? What, like, did the guy say, "I like this guy because of this"?
I'm sure there was much more to it back then, but that was such a long time
Dude,
ago. I was 19.
I bet you he saw Beverly Hills High School and he was like, "This guy went to Beverly Hills High School. We got to give it to."
And we
But
didn't
that
even
was before 90210. That was before the show.
exactly. And,
Yeah.
I couldn't even say it was because of my good looks because we didn't have pictures back then.
There were no pictures. Yeah.
But so that was really funny. So that started.
Maybe baseball. Maybe saw the sports and the guy was into sports or something. I mean, you don't know.
I don't think that's it.
You don't think that's it? I mean, I don't know.
I don't think that's it.
I'm
If I
stretching.
was, let's put it this way: if I was in a Broadway musical, I would have had a better shot with him.
I got a job one time, actually. This is true. And the girl who the assistant who gave it to the boss, I guess, said it was just because it was the resume that was right on top. You know what I mean? Like it was just because, like, "Oh, I need a resume. Here, it's that it was that easy."
It's funny though, JT, because you think about how your life can literally change because of one person doing something random. That guy picked your resume off the top of a pile. My guy picked it off of a coffee table, and it changed the trajectory of my whole life. So I spent almost 10 years at Universal. I started as an HR
10 years.
manager.
I didn't realize you were. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I started as an HR manager. Then once we got CityWalk up and running, I became really great friends with the guy who ran CityWalk because I was hiring all of his people. So we spent a lot of time together. He ended up bringing me over and I became a restaurant manager at one of the Universal owned restaurants. I'd never managed a restaurant, but I'd been around restaurants and food service through the hotels. So, I kind of.
Why'd you want that job? Why'd you go from HR to restaurant manager?
You know why? Because I was wanted. And, it was something new and exciting. It was a pay raise at the time, and
Got it.
it's funny because, when I look back on it, I went from a cushy Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 job to working nights, weekends. and
Yeah.
holidays.
Like, why would you want that? Yeah, I would
when I
think
look
that
back,
I would rather not have that. Yeah.
But you know what? It was so much fun, and I loved working in the restaurants, and I loved the people, and I loved interacting with the guests. I mean, we had 30, 40,000 people a day coming through CityWalk because, we had a movie theater there, we had the IMAX, we had the amphitheater, so there were concerts, and we had Universal. So every day it was 30, 40,000 new people, and it was just something that was a lot of fun. And then from there, I just kept getting promoted to running different food and beverage operations. At one point, I was running the food and beverage operations for all the restaurants in the theme park. And then I ran catering for a little bit. We did the Democratic National Convention one year at Universal. And then for the last 2 years I was there, I became the director of all of CityWalk. Part of my biggest role.
You were the director of all of CityWalk.
Of all of CityWalk.
Is that the highest position there? That's the highest.
There's an executive vice president who oversees everything. So as the director, my main operation was the day-to-day operations of the street, as well as all of the tenant management. So that's kind of where I really started getting a little bit into real estate, was that I didn't bring anybody on in terms of executing the leases, but once the lease was in place and the tenant became a tenant on CityWalk, I would then be responsible for the day-to-day communication and management of either the owner or the management team of that retail store or restaurant, making sure they were abiding by their lease, all the communication between Universal and our third-party tenants. Plus, I was also responsible directly for P&L and everything, all the Universal-owned units. So we had about 3 or 4 restaurants that were owned.
Universal owned, yeah.
And a couple
Like
of
theme
retail
park
stores.
restaurants,
And then,
yeah.
when you go down a mall or CityWalk, you see these retail carts. We ran that program as well.
Totally.
So all those people reported to me. And then we worked with the other people who ran parking and security. We had our own sheriff substation up there. Security was a really big thing. One thing that we really struggled with was we wanted it to be a place where people who lived in Southern California can come and feel safe. And what we ended up finding was that a lot of the gangbangers and the punks and the young kids came to CityWalk too because they knew that they would be able to go out and be safe because we had such a huge security presence. We didn't let people sit on railings. We didn't let people wear their pants, with their butts exposed and things like that.
Yep.
And we actually had a sheriff substation. So the West Hollywood Sheriff had a contingency of officers that worked on CityWalk. We did, curfews on Friday and Saturday night. We didn't let people under 18 stay out after 10 o'clock. So it became a place where people really felt safe, that this was a good place to go. It's a family place, for all the people that are going to the theme park.
So how long were you at that? Like, when did you make the switch from director at Universal to, I think I want to be a real estate broker? Or was that what happened?
So here's what happened. So my dad, who was in the schmata business, for all of you non-Yiddish folks out there who don't know what that is, this is the rag business. He imported and exported used materials, clothing. He was like the inventor of the antique clothing stores. If you remember Aardvarks and all the places on Melrose.
Totally.
Sold to a lot of those places. And my sister.
Aardvarks isn't there anymore. Is it still there?
No.
Yeah, it's gone.
But my sister had a store on Santa Monica also that, sold all that kind of stuff. So it was the kind of the family business. But at some point, it was just nothing that I was interested in. But when my dad then retired when he was 80, his partner passed away.
You retired at 80?
Yeah, when I say retired, I mean he was doing a lot of real estate stuff. So him and another guy, once they stopped doing schmata business, they got into buying old industrial properties. So he had his industrial property down there where he did all of his schmata work.
Got it.
They started buying old properties, fixing them up, renting them out. And then when his partner passed away when he was 80, he kind of looked to me and he said, "Hey, I got a decent amount of real estate here, and I'm 80, and I don't want to do this, and I don't have the ability to do it."
Do you want to take this?
Do you want to come over? And first it was like, "Can you help?" And I was already working 70 hours a week at Universal. I mean, it was a big job. It was a lot of work. And so I got to the point where I gave Universal a 3-month notice. And I told them, I said, "Listen, I'll work this summer." It was 2001. I said my last day, believe it or not, was going to be September 13th. And you know what happened September 11th of 2001. And so I remember that day on 2001, September 11th, it all happened. To Universal. Obviously, they closed the theme park that morning, and security was a department that was under my purview also. And I felt horrible. I said, "Here I am. I'm leaving in 2 days." They hadn't even hired my replacement yet because we were going into the slow season. Because summer was busy, Labor Day comes and goes, and it's slow, so they wanted to take their time. But then all of a sudden, I told them, I said, "Listen, if you guys need me to stay," and they were like, "No, listen, you've got your life. We got to figure this out." So. September 13th was my last day. And so it was kind of obviously weird. That was obviously a weird first year, things happening. But the nice thing is I got a chance to kind of reconnect with my family and my friends, because when you work in hospitality, you're working nights, holidays, weekends. People are saying, "Oh, you want to come out?" I can't, I'm working. It was always the standard line. People stopped asking me to do things because they knew I was always working Friday, Saturday nights, and, always being there because that's when we were busy. And so it was a nice time to connect. I ended up training for a marathon. I ran my first marathon in 2002, in March of 2002, first and last.
So you're not to. So you switched. So basically, you stopped working at the theme park, right? Or let's call it the theme park, Universal.
Right.
And what, day one, you're now technically a property manager. Is that, I mean, essentially you're a property manager.
Property manager, and we immediately started flipping properties. It was something that I always wanted to do. Is just, kind of hard, obviously, to put the time in. But right away, we bought a couple of fixer houses, one in Larchmont and one in Hollywood, and we renovated both of them and sold them. And
So you're what, like 40 around now, or like how old are you around this time?
right now I'm 58, so God, it was 30, late 30s
So late 30s. Okay.
or mid 30s, yeah, around there.
Yeah, like mid to late. Yep.
Yeah, and at the time I was thinking, oh, this is going to be great. I'm running all our own properties, managing that stuff, doing some flips.
Hey, just to throw it out there, because like you're chopping up a little bit.
Sure.
I don't know if you have a route. I don't know if it's you or me, and we could check or whatever, but we won't bore our listeners with that. But like, just if you can get closer to your router, that would be great. But I don't know if it might be me. I don't know, but I don't think it is. But it might be. Just throwing it out there. Anyway, we're good.
You got it. Is it okay now?
Yeah. No, it like comes and goes a little bit. Okay. I just want to. The audio has been okay, but it's the video. I want to see your beautiful face. It's like going.
I was gonna say because yours is going out a little bit too.
Is it?
So
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if it's you or me. We could check, but anyway, don't worry.
Basement in Brooklyn, right?
Yeah, no, I'm on the third floor actually.
Okay, there. So anyway, we were flipping a couple properties, and I had my broker's license right away after I left Universal. I immediately went to UCLA. They have a certificate program where you can do all your coursework to get a broker's license. Got my broker's license, and it took me about 6 months to a year to just realize that all the stuff that I was doing for our own properties was now on autopilot. I figured it, all my processes out, all the stuff, and got to know all the tenants.
How many? What was it? Mainly commercial properties, or
it was all industrial?
Okay, all industrial. So very few tenants. And so, okay, so you basically streamlined the whole thing.
Correct. And then, and so I got to the point where I was like, all right, I'm getting a little bored, and this is all easy, and so I said, maybe I should try and figure out to do some residential brokerage. I said, if I do a couple of friends a year, maybe I can make another 50 grand or whatever. I wasn't even really thinking big.
Yeah.
And
but you're like, I got time. You're like, I got time, so I might as well do something. Sure. Yeah.
So I hooked up with one of my buddies, my high school buddy. You might even know David Bernstein. I don't know if you know David.
I don't know David Bernstein, yeah.
Anyways, he's now a big movie producer. He works with Clint Eastwood, but his mom was a real estate broker, and I had always, known her. And she brought me into her office, which happened to be the same office as my real estate agent, the guy who represented me when I purchased my first few condos. Mm-hmm. And so,
what office was that?
This was back in the days when it was still Prudential. It was Prudential in West Hollywood at the Pacific Design Center.
Okay.
And so I started there. I hung my license with them, and I told them, I said, listen, I don't want you to think that I'm going to try and become this big real estate broker. I said, I just want to do a couple of deals. I just need someone to kind of help me out. And they were really sweet and really nice. Jerry Premack was the manager. RIP, but he was a fantastic guy. And
was that like the office back then? Like back then, was that,
It was the office of West Hollywood.
Okay.
We didn't do a ton, and everything we did was primarily in West Hollywood at the time, and I was living in West Hollywood, so it kind of all worked out.
So this is what, like 2003 or something, or right around there?
2004, yeah.
Early 2000s.
Yeah, I've been a broker about 21, 22 years, something like that. So, and then, so anyway, my first year just kind of, it all just clicked, and I had 7 listings, and I did about like 9 transactions, which for people who don't know that, it might not sound a lot, but for your first year, not really knowing what you're doing, it was a great year. And sold a home to Charlize Theron. I didn't represent her, but we had the listing, and that was kind of fun. And then I met Daphne.
Is she as beautiful in person?
You know what? I don't want to disparage her, but she was kind of a bitch.
Really?
She came in with the big oversized hat and the big sunglasses, didn't say hello to me. Just, the agent just kind of did the old, let her do her thing.
Does she act like she knew she was hot? Like she's like, look, I'm hot and I'm famous and like.
Yeah, again, I don't want to say anything bad.
Okay. Well, I'm saying it. I'm the one saying it.
Anyway,
Anyway, you know what? I'm not surprised. She sort of, I could see her being that way. But anyway, okay, it doesn't
But
matter.
her agent happened to be a wonderful woman, Stamy Karakasides, who's still a big agent in LA. And we became very friendly. And her girlfriend at the time was a builder developer. And I became very friendly with her. And she ended
Who's
up
this is the
Julie.
who's this?
So Stamy was the agent who represented
Charlize.
Charlize.
Okay.
Amy's girlfriend was this woman named Julie Berchtold, and she had a build design company called Berchtold Harris. And I became very friendly with them. We did a couple small projects together, and then they ended up doing the total ground up renovation of my parents' house in Truesdale. So that was a big, deal, and we became very friendly. And again, we've always tried to do renovations and flips all along the way. But anyway, so through working at Prudential is where I met Daphna, and Daphna was Rosalie Klein's assistant. Rosalie was a huge agent, and she was just very difficult. She was of a different generation. She was probably in her, at the time, late 70s. And Daphna was a young, attractive go-getter, and she had her license, and she was ready to kind of break away and go on her own. And we became friends in the office. And we kind of just said to each other, you know what? Why don't we work together and just help each other out? She went on a big trip to Israel, and I babysat.
But was it like, hey, let's be a team and
It wasn't even that.
it wasn't like that.
It started with she asked me to help her. She was going to Israel for a month, and I was babysitting one of her listings, and I put it into escrow and almost closed it by the time she got back. And she was like, "Oh my God, you're the best, and we should do this more often." And I was also an investor in a restaurant called Buddha's Belly. I don't know if you remember Buddha's Belly. It was on the corner of Beverly and Gardner. Two of my buddies from high school, they were the main owners. And because of my background, I helped them out. And I was doing some consulting with them and working with them when they tried to open up future restaurants. And sometimes I would run some floor shifts for them, whatever they needed. And so I told Daphne, I said, listen, I said, maybe you can help me because I'm busy. I'm flipping houses. I'm, working with the restaurant a little bit. So if we can help each other out. And so we started, and then we started to try and figure
at
out.
this point, sorry, not to cut you off, but at this point is real estate like brokerage. What percentage of your job is it at this point?
Very minor. I mean, like
Very minor, like less than
all my
10%
brokerage.
of your
Yeah.
income.
Yeah.
So still, and this is what, 2-3 years into working at Prudential?
This is in my first year.
Well, this is in your first year. Wow. So this is like immediately. Okay.
Exactly. So Daphne and I just started helping each other out, and we kind of tried to form a partnership. And we were saying, well, if you do this, I'll give you this much. And then finally, after a while, we just said, you know what, if we're really going to be partners, let's just do 50-50 on everything. That way we're not worrying about who's bringing what business and what have you. We'll figure it out. If it's not working, it's not working. And I would say, honestly, Jonathan, that if I calculated every deal that we've done over the $1 billion of real estate that we've done over the past 18 years, I would say it would probably work out to be
pretty close.
50-50. I mean, we really have a wonderful partnership. We're amazing friends. We're like family.
Wait, hold on, because I have too many questions, so I don't even want to go there yet. So now you guys you're there a year, and it's like it's less than 10% of your annual income. So you're not really taking even real estate brokerage that seriously, right? It's less than 10% of your income. At the time you meet Daphna, you're like, Daphna, let's partner up. So she didn't really have much of a business either at that point.
She came right from being an assistant.
An assistant.
So she had no business. But Rosalie had a couple of big developer clients that loved Daphna. And we didn't steal anybody away, but like I said, Rosalie was a little tough to work with. But
was she retiring? I mean, it sounds like Rosalie was older. Or?
Still working.
Oh, was she still working? Well, you said she was. This is like 20 years ago. She's 73.
Yeah,
she's 93 and still working.
I don't think she's 93, but she's.
Oh, is she up there?
I like Rosalie a lot.
Yeah.
Anyway, Daphna brought a couple of big developers over to us, and if you remember, in the years of after 2008, we had 15 years of just, unbelievable appreciation in the market. And this was back in the day where you can still, even in Beverly Hills, you can buy a piece of land for $1 million, spend $1 million building a house, and then sell it for $1 million profit. It was this formula that was working. So our clients were all doing 4 or 5 of these a year, and we had multiple developers, and that was kind of our niche. And because I grew up in Beverly Hills, I had a lot of friends and a lot of people that I knew who had parents selling. And so Daphne was really kind of bringing in a lot of developers, and I was bringing in a lot of the higher ticket,
Resales.
resales, exactly. And it just worked out great. And then I started actually piggybacking with a lot of our developers, because I saw, the great.
Were you still developing at this stage too?
So developing is a very loose term, because when I say, we were flipping homes.
Or flipping, yeah.
I was working with one main contractor who was kind of a down and dirty guy. He was renting one of our buildings downtown, and he would go in with his crew, and they would do some, sometimes it was just a light remodel. It was just
Yeah.
paint and flip, or sometimes we would do a bathroom and some floors. Anyway, so, it started to get to the point where we realized that we had something going. And so the big.
How many years is this? I mean, like, are we talking like
About
2
3
years
years.
in? What's that?
3 years in, we were.
3 years in.
Yeah. And what happened is that in 2011,
Were you always at Keller? No, you were at at Prudential still?
and then we went
Yeah.
to Keller Williams. We were
Okay.
at Prudential about 2 years, and then
Okay.
we left. And we went to Keller Williams, and we've been with Keller Williams now. Geez, almost 19 years. It's crazy. But our big project came in 2011, where one of our developers built 25 brand new condos in Beverly Hills, Hamilton, and we got the listing on that. And that kind of, I think, turned the page from us being working on homes for $2-3 million. Because back then, at the time, a $2 million house was a big house.
Yep.
So, for us to sell out 25 units, and then on top of selling out that project, we ended up doing a lot of leasing for some of the people who bought it. We double-ended a lot of the deals there.
Yeah.
Done a lot of resale in that building. So that building has kind of been the gift that keeps on giving. And believe it or not, I now own one of the units in that project and use it as a rental.
Where's that building? Where's that
It's on
building?
Hamilton. It's right across from La Cienega Park.
Oh, cool.
We're one block east of La Cienega, right above.
Is that Beverly Hills? Is that because like the line's right there, right? Yeah.
It is Beverly Hills. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. As
So-
long as it's in Beverly Hills.
Yeah. So the nice thing about that project is we needed to have a sales office on site. So we brought in a guy named Howie Nickel. I think you might.
I know Howie. Yeah.
So Howie first.
Such a nice guy. He's like one of those people, like, and we all know a few of them who are just like the nicest person. Like if anyone says anything bad about Howie, it's like, what's wrong with you?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
And so he's been with us 15 years, and his wife is wonderful, and we've watched his daughter grow up. She just graduated from UCLA, so it's just amazing. He's going to be coming over for Passover in a couple weeks.
That's nice.
So Howie actually was the first person that I want to say, partnered with to help us with this project, because we had to have someone at the building all the time. So people.
I remember actually, because that's when I started at Keller Williams, and I think I was sitting next to Howie. And I was like, and I was like, oh my God, like I was still learning the LA game. I had no, God, the LA game and the New York game are like opposites, complete opposites. Anyway, so I remember that because I remember when he left and I was like, oh, look at this guy's. He's working with Gregg and Daphne. You bastard.
So we brought Howie over, and
Yeah.
he got a lot of business out of that. And he was a real go-getter, and he ended up landing a developer in Encino. When I say landed, he was going after this guy because he was building 9 homes on a street off of guy was like Woodley and Ventura. And he literally bought the entire block, and he was building 9 custom homes. And how he was trying to get this business and trying. And finally he was like, Gregg, Daphne, can you guys come with me to meet him? Because Daphne's Israeli, he was Israeli. We know the business. We work with a lot of builders. And the 3 of us met with him, and he signed with us. And so we got all 9 of those homes. And so
That's
kind of
great.
solidified Howie as a member of our team. And then from there, we grew the team to about 10 people. And we've had some people leave, some people come. We're currently 10 people now. And we've never wanted to be one of those teams that were 100 guys or multi offices and things like that. We were happy just keeping a nice small family.
When I was
feel.
there, what, it was just the two of you and Howie, wasn't it? It was just the three of you?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
we were
crazy.
slowly
So you've gone from
growing
3
that.
to 10.
Yeah.
That's
And to be
great.
honest, we could have 100 right now. I mean, we have a really good relationship with everyone in the industry, everyone in our office, and everybody wants to be on our team. But again, we're not as much wanting to bring people because it's hard. It's hard to train people, develop people because there's no contract. They come and you could spend all this time and money and energy on developing them. They figure it all out, then they leave and
Well,
go work for themselves.
like, how does it work? Because I mean, for me, look, I fly solo like always, and for the most part I have. But like, if let's say I've got a $5 million house, right? And I'm like, Greg, I want you to sell my house for me, right? Are you the one showing my house? Are you going to show my house?
It depends. And we always
Yeah.
tell everybody that Daphne and I will never put a lockbox on the property. We'll never do that.
Never.
No, we'll always
Not
try.
even if it's in the valley. What if it's in the valley? Like deep valley?
It's so funny.
Like,
No, we never do it. That's kind of been the core of our business is we've never put a lockbox on a property. So Daphne and I always say, and that's the nice thing about having a partner, a 50-50 partner like Daphne. It's like Daphne needs anything, I'm there. If I need something, she's there. So, we always try and show it. But the interesting thing is that
Daphne's husband's never been jealous of you?
Daphne got divorced right before she met me.
Did she get oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
No, that's
Or
okay.
maybe
She's got
happy for her.
She's got two beautiful kids that are
Yeah.
now both graduating. One has already graduated from college. The other one's graduating this year. And so, but it's funny because everyone thinks that we're married or whatever.
I mean, you basically are, right? You always
my
have the
work
office wife.
She's my work wife, but listen,
Yeah.
she manages all of my rental properties now. She is the executor of my estate. I mean, listen, we've become.
Oh my God. So
we're-
you
we're
are
part-
married to her.
We are connected. We are familiar.
Yeah.
So, Miss.
How are you not? I got to go back there. How are you like single still? That's like crazy.
Just lucky, I guess.
It's got to be by choice. You must choose to be single.
Yeah, I'm very selective, and I'd rather be alone with my dog than.
I mean, it's a great conversation for the therapist, honestly, and if you ever want to talk about it, I'm happy to talk about it. But you're like, I mean, like, God, you got to be like the front. They don't do these magazines anymore where it's like most eligible bachelor in Los Angeles, right? But like I mean, Jesus, how I can't believe. First of all, you're the nicest guy. You've always been so nice with me, and you like all my TikTok videos and everything. I mean, my God, I mean, like if we did a list of like who likes my videos the most, you're top 3 for sure.
But listen, I love your videos. Listen, you stray a little into the tennis world a little too much for me, but that's
Is it
okay.
too much?
Not for listen, I'm a real estate guy and I don't play tennis, so I love it when you talk real estate and even when you're just giving your Jerry Seinfeld thoughts as you're walking down the street.
Oh God, yeah.
You have such a great demeanor and you're very funny, and listen, I think it's
Thanks,
hard
man.
being on social
By the
media.
way, you got to come to the tennis club here I don't know when you come out. You got it. This is where the U.S. Open used to be played, but it's like there's a lot of history there. Arnold Schwarzenegger met his wife at the club.
Oh.
Right, which is true. Maria Shriver, but we all know how that ended. But still, and we're putting pickleball
I do have
in.
a housekeeper, so
What's that?
I do have a housekeeper.
You do? Okay, well, so then, hey, look, you're allowed to sleep with your housekeeper. You're not married. It's okay. No one will.
But we're keeping it professional.
No one, yeah, but that's not a good idea. I don't recommend that for sure. Look, so let's get back to the real estate because I'm still kind of so. In Los Angeles, like, let's just talk the market right now in Los Angeles, right? What are you seeing? Okay, but let's just talk prediction for 2026, right? Forget about what you're seeing now, right? Because I actually think I can tell you in New York, I think what you're seeing now is just like only going to get better for the rest of the year. That's my feeling. But what is your feeling for 2026 in Los Angeles?
Okay. So the one thing that I can tell you, and we learned this very early, I was talking about Jerry Premack, before, our manager. He said the one thing that's always stuck with me. He says, in any market, there's buyers, sellers, and investors. They're all in it for different reasons sometimes, but there's always business. And we've been in it long enough now where the calls come to us. the Facebook inquiries come to us, the emails come to us. So it took a long time. For the first 3, 4, 5 years, we were out busting our butts, beating down the sidewalks, trying to find business. And the old saying in real estate is we're not real estate agents, we're lead generators. If we're not generating leads and you're not prospecting, you're not going to make any money. So for us, that's the way that we've always done it. But now we're finally at a point where we have enough repeat clients and enough referrals that we're the people.
You don't have to do that anymore.
We don't have to, but you still have to, because now when the market's a little depressed right now in LA, interest rates have not come down enough that,
like, Greg, not to cut you out, but like give me 3 things you do on a weekly basis to generate leads.
my number one, and I'll say there's really only one for me, is Facebook. And I know Facebook gets
Still Facebook. Yeah.
Obviously, Instagram is a little bigger. I haven't gotten into TikTok yet in terms of making content, and they may start to do that. But I would say probably 75% of my business through Facebook. And it's people that know me and trust me. And you know what? They may follow me for years and years and years and never say anything or comment or like any of my posts. But when they're ready and they want to make a transaction,
they know to call you.
Or they have a referral. Like, for example, you remember Coach Newman at Beverly.
I mean, just for everyone, I just want to give a little color to this, because I remember we used to have, you probably still do at Keller Williams, but I remember we used to have those like weekly, or monthly, no, they were weekly, right? Where they like interviewed someone and they were like, how are you getting your leads? Like kind of like an interview like this. Sure. And you were up there and you were like, I'm getting my leads on Facebook. You were like 70 at the time. I think you were even like 100% of my business is coming from Facebook. And this is like 2013.
Exactly.
Right. So to hear that it's still coming from there is pretty amazing.
Well,
yeah.
But you got to remember, I mean, think about it. For 20 years, people have now been seeing my business on Facebook and and I don't go crazy. We have a MS Property Partners Facebook.
Well, like, what are you posting on Facebook? Like you post every day?
I don't. It's a mix between my personal life and my work life, because I know that people don't want to just see, oh, here's property taxes are due and here's a condo I sold. We post what we have sold and we post our new listings, and I don't get into too much more because I don't want to bore people to death. They know I'm in real estate. If they want to get me, they know how to. And I think that people...
Is it you, or you're just showing the listings? Like you're not like, hey, I'm Greg. Honestly, I don't ever see your, but I don't.
Yeah,
on
I'm
Facebook.
not big on that, and Daphne, definitely not. She does not want to do it. But now, listen, it's the way of the world. TikTok and being on podcasts like this. We're actually going to go on. I don't know if you know Paul Morris's podcast. He's got a pretty big.
I know Paul Morris, yeah, but that's cool.
And we're going to be on his podcast next week. And so, listen, I think the only way to get your name out there is to put yourself out there.
Put yourself out there, yeah. And
I love the creativity that, real estate agents do on TikTok. I don't know if you know this guy, Bograd or whatever. He's a real estate agent, I think, out of Pennsylvania, Joe Bograd. And he's
I don't think so.
And he's funny because, he has no filter. He swears and he wears T-shirts but he's got a huge following, and people love that. It's when
Have you seen that girl in Tampa Bay who like is very dry and she stands in different rooms of, and I mean, I can't, like, what brokerage allows, like, if I don't think I would even be allowed to make videos like that.
I'm going to send you her latest one. Funny that you mentioned that, because I was just watching her this morning. She had a very, very funny one that got a little political, but it was great. I loved it. So
yeah, they're hilarious, but I'm just like, I think Corcoran would be like, you can't work here anymore if you.
But that's the one thing that I love about Keller Williams, for all of their faults and things that maybe I don't love, the one thing that I always say is that they leave me alone. They let me do whatever I want, and I think that goes along with producing. If you produce and you're the number one, agent in the office, your team in the office, what are they going to say,
But I mean, like, what's the most, like, borderline thing you've ever done?
It's not borderline thing. I think it's things like where we can manipulate our own commissions. There's a lot of times where they'll say you can't take less than 2.5% or this or that. Listen, if I want to strike a deal with a deal and give away all my commission, they have nothing to say about it, And I think that Daphne and I, we're not crazy, we're not wild. We're pretty by the book, and we're pretty straightforward, straight-laced agents. We're not looking to offend anybody or do anything, and we're very ethical. I think we always live by the motto of do the right thing, and the money will follow. So
what's the most expensive piece of property you ever sold?
We did a couple. We did one that was 16 and a half.
Was it the
Definite.
house?
It was a house, yeah, brand new
Yeah.
construction in the hills of Beverly Glen. Then we did one in Malibu off PCH that was 15 million, and we Daphne just
Is
closed.
it still standing, that house?
Still standing.
It is.
But,
Nice.
believe it or not, when we sold it, this was before the fires. This was a while ago. You could see the burn line from a past fire literally all around the house. So, when you're building there, you have to take that into consideration. But the developer built it with very, very, fire safe products and materials and things of that nature, which I think you're going to see in the Palisades. And
What's going on in the Palisades right now? Like,
it's
are people
interesting.
rebuilding?
They are rebuilding, but it's definitely taking a lot longer than I think people thought. And I think 50% of the people are not going to rebuild. And so a lot
So
of,
what? They'll just sell it. They'll just sell the land to developers.
yeah, developers or people who want to buy and build a house for themselves. So they have seen that some of the lots were selling for about 20 to 30% below what they would have sold for if there had
Got it.
not been fire.
Pre-fire.
But
Yeah.
then again, there's so much to choose from out there, great locations. And I also invest. Remember Portavia restaurant that was across
Of
the
course. Yeah. Peter. I used to work there.
I didn't
That
know.
when I was like 18, before, like when he was tiny, I worked there. I was like, I think he was, with, who I worked there with? With Eden Sassoon. Is that hilarious? Eden and I were serving up cappuccinos.
So
That's pretty funny.
I invested. He opened one in the Palisades in Caruso's development.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. What happened? It burned down? The one in Beverly Hills burnt down?
Yeah, the one in Beverly Hills did, but the one in the
That's
Palisades
sad.
didn't burn down. But it had such extreme smoke damage that all the interior had to be gutted out. And they're going to reopen in August. That's when the Caruso facility out there is planned to reopen. The problem is we don't know if there's going to be enough people to really satisfy the business needs. So we're going to have to take it by ear. We've been trying to get out of that lease, but Caruso's playing hardball, with everybody. Obviously, he wants to keep everyone in their lease. So we'll see. They're going to reopen in August and keep our fingers crossed and hopefully.
You're talking about there's a Portavia in the Palisades?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't
Caruso
realize
opened
that.
up the village called the Village out there, and
Got it.
Palisades Village, and so there's about a handful of restaurants, some retail stores, a movie theater, and it's right there by the alphabet streets. So
That one burnt down in the Palisades fire.
correct,
And then wasn't there a fire in the Beverly Hills one as well?
correct. That was just recently, literally
that was
almost
recent.
a year later, which is crazy to think of. And he's got another one in Calabasas and one in Palm Desert, and he's going to be opening up another.
Peter's great. Peter's funny. He hasn't changed. He hasn't changed. I gotta tell you, he's exactly the same. He's funny. That's great, man. That's great.
Business is good. For us, thankfully, we've got enough business that we're not affected by the slowdown, but it's tough. It's some years it's easier than others. And right now it's a little bit of a grind. Things are not
When you say business is tough, you're talking about real estate.
real estate
is tough.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Flip.
Yeah. Why? Because nobody's listing their property. No one is buying it.
There's not a lot
Taxes are too high.
everything.
Yeah.
Taxes, it is what it is. The taxes hasn't changed. It's still 1.25%. So it is what it is, but it is too high for people who want to go
Well, didn't they raise the mansion tax out there?
the mansion tax. That's a big issue that I think that they're hopefully going to try and get away from. They raised it from, I think it was from 5 million to 5.150 now. So any sale above that number, there's 4% tax. And then obviously if it's above
Quick math: $200,000.
well,
Well, all the rich people are like, I'm better off renting. I'm better off renting.
you know what? For rich people, they can do whatever they want.
They can do whatever they want.
So what I was going to say though is that when you are selling a property for $2 million and you bought it for $1 million, all of a sudden now you want to buy a $3 million property, your property tax is going up extraordinarily high. And so that's a deterrent for a lot of people to move is the rise in property tax.
Rise in your property tax.
Yeah, the good thing is though is that a lot of our friends, as their parents are starting to sell their homes in the flats of Beverly Hills where they grew up, and now they're downsizing, but they can keep, after the age of 55, that proposition that allows you to keep your property tax at the same level without transferring it. Because even, if you sell a $10 million house and you buy a $2 million condo, the $2 million condo's property tax is higher than what you were paying on that $10 million house because you've been there
Got
for
it. Because
40
you were
years.
grandfathered in. Yeah.
So
Who's buying those houses in the flats? Young families.
young families, it's amazing how young these families are. Tons of developers though. Every teardown is flying. We just sold one on Sierra for 9.15 that had multiple offers, and it's
Like
just
crazy. So you're still seeing that. You're still seeing multiple offers over
Beverly
ask.
Hills is very hot. I mean, right now we just took a new listing in South Beverly Hills. There is one house on the market in all of Beverly Hills under $3 million. So we're gonna
Where? What street? What street's on?
I should probably not say it.
Oh, really?
It's over by Horseman,
By Horseman. Horseman.
South Beverly.
That's crazy. So wow. So nothing cheaper than $3 million in Beverly Hills.
And
If you want a house.
And in the flats of Beverly Hills, you
Yeah.
can't get a teardown lot for less than 6.5. That's
That's
the going
wild.
rate for the smallest lot in the flats of Beverly Hills.
That's crazy. So I mean, look, we're running out of time. I could sit here all day and talk to you, but I would imagine
Invite you onto my podcast.
like, dude, I can't wait. Please. I mean, you know what? You're gonna. I mean, how much fun are we having? You know what?
This is great.
You're gonna
Do this all day.
you're gonna be like, why am I not doing this? Like, it's too fun. I just got to spend an hour with you, and we're doing it for self promotion. It's fantastic.
I'm doing it just because I love you.
Oh really? You're not doing it. I'm doing it for self promotion. I'm doing it for self promotion. I don't know.
No, but seriously,
So like,
I am looking forward. I'll be out in September. We'll make some plans, and I'm going to introduce you to my buddy Brett, who just moved to Greenpoint, and
I love it. Yeah, I love it. I love it. I mean, let's leave on. I have two things. I'll probably forget, but like, first off, your prediction for 2026, and let's just talk LA because you're the LA expert, obviously. But obviously, what happens in New York and LA, usually the rest of the country follows. What is your prediction for the real estate market for the rest of 2026?
I think it's going to be flat. I think that we just saw Jerome Powell came out saying that interest rates are going to go unchanged, and I know it's not a direct correlation with mortgage rates, but it is.
Probably because of the war, though, too, right?
The war, and
Yeah.
then they said that they think that the next time where they take the vote will probably also be unchanged, and we'll have to see. I mean, hopefully things towards the end of the year will start to pick up a little bit more. I mean, listen, spring and summer have usually been our heyday in terms of times of the year to sell, but the last, I would say 5 years, it's been going all year. I mean, we're selling just as much as we are during the holidays. We used to tell people don't list during the holidays. Now you put it on the market.
List.
It's flying. Yeah, if it's a good property. It's very, very property specific. The old idea of being in a certain zip code or area code is not enough anymore. It's very house specific.
All right, and last, well, okay, and I just thought of another question, so I have two more. What's the hottest neighborhood in Los Angeles right now? If I'm buying something between $1 million and $2 million, where do I want to buy right now?
$1 million and $2 million. That's
Yeah.
a lot of value. I mean,
It's not that much.
It's not that much. You cannot get a good house for $2 million.
Nothing. So forget it. Okay, so $3 million, because you said that's the cheapest house in Beverly Hills. So I assume I can go to other neighborhoods and spend $3 million. So I have $3 million. Isn't that hilarious? Say for $2 million. You can't buy anything for $2 million. All right, $3 million. Where should I buy in Los Angeles?
I mean, it's so interesting because all the areas that we said were these up and coming areas like Glass L Park and
Give me a neighborhood. Give me a neighborhood.
these are all south of downtown Los Angeles, and north, kind of like in between downtown and Pasadena. All those areas out there, those are the hottest, hippest areas where you actually can get a house for under $2 million. But they're transitional still,
Yeah.
They're getting a lot of the cool
It's not too
restaurants.
far. It's not like it's too far.
But you know what? So many people work from home now. It's very
Doesn't
rare.
matter.
I can't remember the last time I had someone say, "Oh my God, I am working in Century City and I have to be in driving distance." It's almost, you don't even hear of it anymore. But I would say that area is probably still the hottest. But Beverly Hills is still Beverly Hills, and
Yeah.
the Valley, everything's over.
Where are you? Where are you living?
I live in Sherman Oaks.
Sherman Oaks. I remember you in West Hollywood. So you moved from West Hollywood to Sherman
I
Oaks.
did. I had a very modern 3-level loft, and when COVID happened and I got my dog, I said I need a yard for my dog. So
Yeah.
I bought a house.
You got a
in
pool? You have a house with a pool and everything?
Beautiful pool. I have a
Nice.
22,000 square foot lot, flat. It's great.
Oh, I love it.
I was going to put in a pickleball court, which I still may. I have.
You should actually. That's fun. That's a great day. Pickleball, pool, barbecue. What more do you want? All right, last question. You ready?
Yes.
What's your favorite restaurant in Los Angeles? And it's just your favorite restaurant. It doesn't have to be the fanciest. It could be Dupar's, for Christ's sake.
You know, it's funny that you say Dupar's because, you know, you go to some of these areas and you see these restaurants that are no longer where they used to be. But I would say my favorite restaurant right now is, boy, you really threw me.
Dantana's?
Yeah, I love Dantana. I love Gregg's. I love Cicconi's in West Hollywood is great. But I'm a sucker for a good steak, and Balter in Brentwood is probably my favorite.
This is the BAM.
They're so classic, great bar scene, huge cinnamon rolls brought to your table. I mean, it's
so annoying. I met a buddy. I was in LA last year, maybe a year ago, and like I met a buddy in Brentwood, and he like suggested the place across from that place, from Balter's, and it was like not good. And he was like, "Oh, we should have gone to Balter's." I'm like, got a guy from New York, give me some steak. What?
I don't know if you're talking about AOC, but Carolyn Stein, who actually went to Beverly with us, she's a huge James Beard Award winning restaurateur. And she had a place that was there that President Obama used to go to when he was in town. I can't remember what it was called before it was AOC, but she's very successful. So I'm hoping it wasn't her restaurant that they were talking about.
Yeah, I wouldn't even know it if I heard it. I don't think, but I remember, and it was fine. It was fine. It wasn't terrible, but it just wasn't like a great experience.
It's so funny, what I really wish if I could have started 20 years ago, I would have done food reviews on TikTok. I mean, I think those are the funniest.
I love
it.
it.
New York last time, I think you probably saw some of my posts, but I was really
hilarious.
Pizza.
How was Mama's 2? Mama's 2 won best pizza in America. Did you see that?
One of my favorites in my top 3. I think because I went up to New Haven and I did Sally's, which I thought was incredible.
Sally's is the best. Yeah, I'm going there next weekend. Actually,
nice.
I got to go up there for a dance competition, and we go to Sally's.
I got to get back to Defara because we went to Defara and we just we had a piece that was just reheated and I thought it was really good, but I want to get a fresh pie when I go.
You know what they have now? This is crazy. I don't know if they have this in LA. Do you have Wonder in LA? Do you have that place? Oh, Wonder, and I don't know. It's like a famous chef owns it, and they just bought DoorDash, so it's like a big deal. They opened up in like every major neighborhood in New York City, and you can order like chicken wings from Blue Ribbon. You can order Defara pizza from Defara. You can order it's like 10 of the city's best, and they have like one dish from all the restaurants. It sounds conceptually pretty awesome. I don't know if they can deliver. Like if they deliver as good a pizza as if you went to Defara, I'm doubting that they can. But
if
anyway,
I told you that I had that idea, that concept in my mind years and years and years ago.
Yeah.
When I first started in the restaurant business, I said to myself, could you imagine if you go to one place and get the Cajun jambalaya pasta from the Cheesecake Factory and go to this place and get the dessert?
Oh my God. Yeah.
So it sounds something similar to that, but my dog.
It's like, how can they do it?
He's like, take me for a walk. So
go. Anyway, dude, this was like an awesome show. I had so much fun. Thank you so much for coming on, and keep liking my videos because God knows I need the fans.
Keep posting.
I'm gonna keep posting, and look, here's to a great 2026, and hopefully we'll see each other soon. Well, definitely in September. Anyway, guys, I want to thank everyone for tuning into JT Unfiltered. I want to thank Gregg Silver, our guest. That was amazing. And we'll see you next week, guys. Have a great week. See you later.